Do a little dance, make a little love, get down tonight, ooh, get down tonight, ooh. I've had that stuck in my head like all day. We as a society, we tend to see things as being good and bad, as right and wrong, as this is a good life, this is a not so good life. But the problem with looking at everything in such a black and white, good and bad kind of mentality is that we forget that no matter what circumstance you're in, you are learning things. And when we get really clamped down in looking at it one way or the other, we refuse to accept the lessons from the things that we deem as being bad. Right? We say like, oh no, that's a bad circumstance. I'm not going to accept anything from that circumstance. I'm going to close it off. I'm going to pretend like it doesn't exist. But the truth is, the hospital, the surgeries, the pain, I've gained something beautiful and wonderful from them. And pretending like I haven't, that doesn't help anyone. So here are some of the wonderful life lessons that I've learned from being sick. First of all, there's nothing wrong with asking for help. We all want to be really self-sufficient as human beings, and especially teenagers and changing into adults and all of that. We want to feel like we have some control over our own lives. One of the things when you're really sick and your body is basically dying around you, you have to know how to ask for help. You have to know how to be weak and when to be vulnerable. And in a weird way, that has been like the most incredible thing I could have ever asked for. And it's given me kind of an ability to ask for what I need because my life has depended on it. There's no situation too terrible to laugh about. Like, I think actually my dad is the best example of this because he's sick. Like, I mean, his sense of humor is like right up there on my level. So we've laughed about like the most horrendous stuff too. Actually, my mom too. They're both really terrible and have awful senses of humor. And so I remember like just growing up, we would laugh about the most ridiculous stuff. You know, really, I've just learned that there's no circumstance and there's no place that is too barren for laughter and for joy and for making things hilarious. Being nice to people saves your life, actually. Like, I'm a very nice human being. I have been since I was very little, but it's kind of a safety mechanism in this weird way because I would be alone and scared. And you know, I remember I was 7 years old and by myself in the hospital, and the doctors would come in and want to do big procedures, and they'd be talking over my head, and I didn't understand anything, and I was in the hospital, and I realized that the only way to get them to respect me was to A, know what I'm talking about, learn, you know, how to be on their level mentally, and B, be kind and wonderful enough that they would want to help me and want to make me feel safe. And when you're dependent on other human beings to keep you alive, it's actually very useful. And then of course, you know, the whole like being nice thing has helped out a little bit in life, I guess. Having a body that's actually very sick has taught me two really important things. One, that your body does not have to be perfect looking to work and for you to be proud of it. The other thing I've learned is how to listen to our bodies. It's really easy to numb out and not feel what's going on, but when you have CF, you kind of have to know what's going on in your body because it can be the difference between like life and death. You know, if you feel like a flu coming on, you have to know before it gets bad or it could kill you. So I've had to learn how to really be able to like tune in and know what's going on, which in turn has been helpful in my real life. I've also learned how to swallow 5 pills at once, which, let me just say, that's way harder than it seems, especially when they're like those huge chalky pills. You know what I'm talking about, the ones that are like this way and they get stuck in your throat and they leave that bitter taste. I can swallow 5 of those at once. I can also cap a needle with a hand behind my back. I'm a magician. That's all I'm saying. I've also learned how to fake being healthy and fake being sick. So when I was younger in middle school, oh my gosh, I used this all the time. I was a horrible person. I used to fake getting out of class all the time, and I got so good. Oh my gosh, I could play people like a freaking fiddle on how to like be sick. And then the other side of that, I also learned how to be healthy when I didn't want to have to go in the hospital, but I knew I was sick because I could feel it. I got really good at knowing how to trick people into thinking I was either sick or healthy, which, dude, that comes in handy. The biggest thing I think I've learned from having an illness, though, is that there is nothing in life that you can fully predict. You're never gonna know what's gonna happen to you next. You're never gonna know how your body's gonna handle the world around you, how your mind's gonna handle it, what's gonna happen externally. I mean, I grew up wanting to do all this crazy stuff. I did gymnastics for years and, you know, and was very social and all that. And right when things would happen, I'd get thrown into the hospital, or I'd get sick, or I'd go into a coma, or my lungs would change and my life would change. And it's constantly been like zooming in different directions. But there's this wonderful thing that I've gotten from CF, and that's the ability to be okay with being scared, to be okay with the unknown, the incredibly unpredictable, you know, habit of life, and be okay with that and say, okay, I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. I literally could die in my sleep. I could get low blood sugar, you know, and pass out in my sleep and nobody would know, and that would be the end of me. But yet still hold on and still find things that are really beautiful and wonderful. And I hope that everyone else can get that where you are, and you know, where you are in your life, and whether you have college planned or whatever, it doesn't matter as long as you can wake up and notice that there's beauty around you. You know, that we live in an infinite and magical world that we're never going to be able to fully understand, but yet we try to live it anyway. So I hope you all enjoyed. I like getting kind of annoyingly deep in Pollyanna every once in a while on you guys, so now I have to drink Starbucks so I don't seem as cool because I'm just a stereotypical white girl, so no one listen to me. Thank you guys for watching. Please feel free to subscribe or to like. Okay, anyway, bye!